And our top focus and beyond right now. Israel-Hezbollah tensions have peaked like never before. Missiles fired by both the sides over the last few days and statements from Iran and Israel ratcheting up the tensions between the two warring sides. And this has now led the UN Secretary General warning of Lebanon heading the Gaza way. In the latest, Iran has now warned Israel against waging a full-blown war against Hezbollah, stating that the group has the capability to defend itself and Lebanon. In a strongly worded message, it has said any decision by Israel to save itself will plunge the region into a new war. Meanwhile, the Israeli government has sent a clear message saying it cannot allow the terror organization to continue attacking its territory. The Netanyahu-led government has hinted at required decisions that it will take to end the war. Demonstrating its psychological operation against Israel's anti-drone system, Hezbollah has released a new video claiming drone strike on IDF's counter-unmanned aerial system. The move comes just hours after Israeli army released a video showing strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned against war between Israel and Lebanon. He has said that Lebanon must not turn into another Gaza amid the raging war. Take a listen.
Let's be clear. The people of the region and the people of the world cannot afford Lebanon to become another Gaza.
And well, for more on this, we're now being joined by Lieutenant Colonel Daniel L. Davis, who is a military expert and the host of Daniel Davis Deep Dive on YouTube. And he's joining us live from Virginia. Welcome to the show, Colonel Davis. Now, with tensions clearly peaking between Israel and Hezbollah militants, and now Iran also issuing a statement against any attacks by Israel on Hezbollah militant group. How do you assess the situation on ground right now with increasing warnings of a regional war at the moment?
Yeah, I think these warnings are valid and need to be taken deadly serious by both Israel, the United States, the regional powers in the area. Because, listen, we got to understand, Hezbollah is not Hamas. And as much trouble as Israel has had to take care of the Hamas terrorist or threat and their militant capacity in the Qasem brigades there in the Gaza Strip, it would be dramatically more difficult if they went to war on the ground in Lebanon against Hezbollah. Hezbollah has more experienced troops. They have far more defensible positions than the Hamas side had. They've had decades, almost a couple of decades nearly, to prepare those since the 2006 war ended, and they have a far higher arsenal with which to attack. So they're really good at defending, as the Russians showed that they were, as they defended against the Ukrainian assault last year. The defense has the advantage in there, and Israel would have to go into the teeth of this stuff. And it's the same thing. You have tank mines, you have anti-tank missiles, you have the rockets, you have artillery. All those things they would have to be going through. At the same time, they still have the southern front with Hamas, because they would certainly cause a lot of trouble in the rear. And frankly, I don't think that Israel has enough ammunition, and it would strain their ability to conduct these operations simultaneously. And I think it would be a losing proposition that I don't think they should go into.
Right, Colonel Davis, you've clearly outlined Hezbollah's military capabilities, which according to you clearly is more than that of the IDF. Now, Netanyahu government has hinted at required decisions that they will take to end the war. What could that perhaps be? And how do you assess right now? Israel is fighting multiple wars, from the Red Sea to the war in Gaza and now the war in Lebanon.
It's just more than I think that they can take on. Listen, the Israeli Defense Force is indeed the premier military force in the entire region. Really, I think pretty clearly on that. But there are limits to their power, just like there's limits to American power. If you get too many irons in the fire, so to speak, and you have too much action coming from multiple directions, it's not hard to see that it could overwhelm them. And here's the thing: all Lebanon has to do. All they've got, the Hezbollah has to just not lose. They can make this thing last a long time and drain it out and try to bleed Israel. Israel, though, would have to win. If Israel starts a fight and they don't win, they'll come off really in the region and in the eyes of most of the world as having failed if they don't win. So the standard is much, much higher for the Israel to go than it is for the Hezbollah side.
Colonel Davis, with tensions peaking, like you've clearly mentioned, can the West do anything at the moment to reduce the tensions between the Hezbollah militants and Israel?
Well, what Hezbollah has said from the beginning anyway is that they would stop firing into Israel if the war in Gaza comes to an end. So having that ceasefire would go a long way towards quelling some of the pressures and the motivations that the Hezbollah side has to launching their rockets down there. It remains to be seen if they would make good on that, but that's what they said will stop what they're doing here. But the United States, look, we have some leverage to play here with the amount of ammunition and rockets and artillery that the Israel side would need if they went into the Lebanon. I think we need to make clear that we would not support an offensive operation there because that would have the possibility, as you said a minute ago, of drawing Iran in, and there would be lots of pressure from different quarters in the United States to join in with Israel. They would say, oh, we can't leave them alone. We've got to join, like it is when the U.S. Air Force shot down a lot of the Iranian drones in I think it was April. And that is something we have to avoid because things could get quickly out of hand and it really could be a regional war.
Right, Colonel Davis, you've clearly linked the tension between Israel and the Hezbollah militants with that of Israel's continuous onslaught in Gaza. And just a short while ago, the IDF launched airstrikes in central and southern Gaza. We'll, of course, be tracking how all of this pans out and whether a ceasefire will withhold. But thank you so much for joining us on the show with your insights.
Always my pleasure.